contenu qu'à la marge. Par contre, ce qui est fondamental, c'est la présentation, l'emballage, la conviction, l'environnement aussi, puisque sur tout ce qui est un peu théorique, c'est-à-dire tout ce qui va au-delà de la maquette et tout ce qui est de l'ordre de la commercialisation, du marketing, de la cible et tout ça, il y a encore de la marge. Et donc, c'est sur là-dessus qu'on vous demande dans cette session qui est plutôt une session de conseil, hein, il n'y a pas de notes, ils ne sont pas notés sur ce qu'ils font, pour donner un avis. Voilà, I do twice in English. So, this is the second presentation of a pre-production process. It will end in 25 of March. 25 of March, the group will have to make a full presentation of the pre-production with the game doc, with, of course, a prototype, but also a description of the whole game, a marketing plan, and everything, the cost and everything, business plan. So now we are at 1 month from the end, so probably it's very difficult to change in deep the project, but the way it is presented, some idea on the full game, because of course the prototype will not show the full games, some idea about the marketing, the public, things like that. You can give them a lot of advice that they will follow with pleasure. So let's start, please.
Welcome everyone. Thank you for coming. I'm going to show you our work on Bring It Back. So what is Bring It Back? It's a game about a team of burglars storming the city of Polypolis, stealing everything they can to become as famous as possible. So it's a game you play with 3 of your friends. You have to communicate and to collaborate to steal objects in a limited amount of time without getting caught by the guards. Now let's jump to the technical information. You play this game with up to 4 players, either local or online cooperation. It's a party and puzzle game. It will be released on Steam, Xbox Live and PSN. The camera uses a top-down perspective, so you can always see all players at any given time. You embody thieves that moves in 2D, only on the ground, and you never go up or down, and you have to carry items. And lastly, the controls are really simple. You move with the left stick, and you can interact with your environment with the A button. Now, as I said before, it's a 4 players game, so you can play offline with 4 players on the same console or PC, or you can play online with 1 to 4 players on one screen, and the other you can find the other one using our matchmaking system online. It's also a cooperation game, so communication is key. When you play offline, you can talk with your friend, show them things on the screen, but when you play online, you don't have any of this, so you can use emotes to communicate with your team. Now, for the structure of the game, Bring It Back takes place in Polypolis. It's a huge cosmopolitan city. It features a lot of places that you can rob. In the final game, there will be 5 of these places, 5 environments or worlds, each with a distinct theme. You have an aquarium, a museum, a space station, a laboratory, and a bakery. Each of these worlds featuring 10 levels each. Now for the basic rules, you have to steal specific objects in a limited amount of time. You win if you get to do this before the timer ends, and you lose if you don't. The protagonists here are the players, and the antagonists are the environment, the special objects that sometimes play against you, and the guards security cameras and lasers that you have to avoid not to get caught. Now, for the reward system, every time you complete a level, you are rewarded with medals. If your time was okay, you get one medal and you can get to the next level. If your time was a bit better than that, but not perfect, you get 2 medals and you unlock a new mask to customize your characters. And then if you get an excellent time, you can unlock another new mask and you get the gold medal with the two other medal. It's also worth noting that completing every level of a given theme, given world, unlocks a new character that you can use in your subsequent playthrough. For example, if you complete every level of the aquarium, you unlock a character that is half fish, half man that you can use in the next levels. Now Alice is going to talk about the core mechanics.
Now I will introduce the core mechanics and how we evolve it. After the beach, we have some general ideas about our core gameplay, mainly the 3. Firstly, one object needs to be carried by several players. Secondly, we want to make the players cooperated to move and rotate the object in a complex map. And thirdly, the goal of level is collecting the object in a limited time to get a higher score. Following those ideas, our core mechanics are mainly those 3 parts. Firstly, the weight system. Every carryable object needs a minimum number of players to move it, which is marked above the object when there are 1 player who grab it. If there are more players than the minimum player number, we could move it a little bit faster. Before, we have tested that the system in which even 1 player could move a big object slowly, but it broke the cooperation, so we added the limit. Secondly, the grab-pull physics. To strengthen the cooperation, the player has to grab and pull the object to move it, which adds the difficulty to move and rotate the object along. In the first prototype, the grabbing sign is marked as a different color on the object, which was not visible when the player was behind the object. So now we mark the grabbing player number directly above the object, which is much more clear. And thirdly, the goal. The goal of level is to be speed. There are 2 kinds of carryable objects, the king object and the obstacle. The players have to transport all the king objects to the validating area to finish the level. The score is guided by the time left. Then I will talk about the guard mechanics. Ideally, we wanted a strong bow-like guard. He's not very intelligent nor speed, but he's really punitive. So now our guard is a strong bow-like rabbit. It has 4 state movement. Normally, it patrols by following a prescribed path. Once it sees the player, it changes to the suspicious state immediately. If the player stays in its vision zone for more than 2 seconds, it will go up to the alert state and run after the player with a bigger velocity than the players and try to capture him. If the player is captured, it will be slow to the start of level. If the player disappears from its vision zone for more than 2 seconds, the robot will pursue the player path until the last position it saw him and then go back to its patrol. For the signs and the feedbacks, besides its animation, we use also different color lights, different state sounds, and the vision zone to indicate the guard's action clearly. Then let's see a theme example.
So we put a lot of attention on our mechanics to make sure they work well. And now, as we are in an iterative process, we're beginning to work on environment mechanics to introduce. So here we'll give you 4 examples of the new mechanics we introduce for the laboratory. So the first one are shortcuts. Shortcuts give players the opportunity to move from one place to the other almost instantly. You can think of them as pipes, like in Super Mario. So players can take shortcuts, but they can't move items through them. It's a way for them to move quickly through the level and also to escape guards when they are chased. Another mechanic, which is really similar, are the teleporters. So teleporters are areas on the ground that are linked with each other. And the main difference between teleporters and shortcuts is that players can move items through teleporters. So we introduce these mechanics to add more complexity in levels. The next mechanics is treadmill. So treadmill are really simple to understand. It's just specific grounds which push players, items, or guards working on them in one specific direction. We added this mechanic to add variety in level design. So we can create one-way corridors or manipulation-oriented puzzles. It's also a mechanic strongly linked with timing. Now that the scoring in the game is directly through timing, treadmills can make a difference between gaining a silver medal or a gold medal at the end of a level. And the last mechanic, but not the least, are pressure plates. So pressure plates are like switches placed on ground, which can open door or activate a system when a player or guard works on the pressure plate. It's really important to create hierarchy in levels, so we can create paths that players can open. Sorry. And players can also put items on pressure plates to activate them. So we can imagine situations where grabbing an item to put on a pressure plate is a challenge by itself, and the reward will be given directly through level design by opening a new path or giving access to a new room. But enough talking about our mechanics. Let's see how bringing back looks like. So here you'll see 2 levels of the laboratory team. The first one, players will have to steal 3 objects that we see here. So one of the players went for a small item to steal, while the other will try to...
Oh, need some help here. I thought I could do it alone.
It's okay. One of the players will go for the small barrel right here, and the 3 others will try to use the computer
It's too heavy.
on top right.
I thought I could do it alone. Oh, need some help here.
You can hear some contextual dialogue when a player is alone trying to move a too heavy item. Okay, so now one player is trying to make a diversion to clear up the way for the others. So here players had 1 minute left at the end of third level. So they gain 3 medals. Here's our only 2
Another
items
new
to steal.
adventure! If we get that supercomputer, will I know the answer to 32 plus 26?
Use the teleporter while the others are trying to move between the treadmills. And they're using the teleporter to move the computer back to the running area. We managed to steal the computer. Now the barrel is quite heavily guarded, so they need to make a diversion again to steal it. Ouch. Great. Thank you.
Okay, now I will talk to you about the universe of the game. So it's in a contemporary world, and it's in a polypolis town. The players plan their thefts. Sorry. So the players plan their thefts in polypolis town by interpret burglar groups who have double identities. So by that I mean they are thieves at night, but they also have their own life at the day. And we sorry, just 2 seconds. Sorry. We created characters with their own personalities and unique stories to make them really originals. And we wanted to have various characters on our game. So we made contextual dialogues during the game. And I will talk to you about some characters, 4 of them. Cartouche is a leader, so he organized the theft. And for him, stealing is not really illegal things. Prudence is a young, noisy girl who wants to make her boring life more exciting. Poe is mysterious, very curious, and pretty naive, but nobody knows a thing about him. And finally, we have Daemon, who is a Japanese actor who wants to increase his actor skills by playing a thief role. And all of these characters are not alone, because you can unlock characters and also masks and hats to make them even more unique. You can unlock characters by ending levels or taking up challenges. About art direction, we have some keywords to guide the conception of the game. Diversity, because we wanted environment to diversify characters, but also the object, your precious object you will have to steal. Overacting, because it's a top-down view game, so we wanted the actions of the players to be clear. So we decided to overact the animations. Even the patrols have mechanicals or robotics caricatures animations to make the distinctions with the players. And finally, colorful, because we wanted our game colorful. Because we wanted to create a vivid atmosphere, and we wanted to increase the idea of a funny game. And now we'll talk to you about the sound. Thank you.
Okay, on the audio side, while it's still a work in progress, the game is based on an emphasis on the game's universe and its reactions. We have clear and characteristic sounds and with varied textures. The game's feedback are put on front and are of two sorts. We have sounds that will carry emotions, reinforce rhythm and reward cooperation, and voices cues, so set by the playable characters. These dialogues are triggered in-game by a set of dynamic events, depending on the game conditions. We have things like the state of an object, like we saw, or the time remaining. These voice feedback are used to magnify information as well as personify the characters. With an online feature line, like we talked about it before, these feedbacks will be available to use manually by the players to help them coordinate their action with voice and visual feedback. It's a local multiplayer game, so it's mixed. It's mixed in 5.1 to let the players discern the actions partially more easily. Because we can see the levels in their entirety, by keeping the audio more focused, the players can now communicate with more efficiency. The sound is made to be catchy with its music, not fun, but its music, mixing electronic rhythm and caricatural instrumentation based on the level's mood. The feedbacks are always carrying a positive tone to maintain the fun ambience. And finally, dynamic mixing is based on the level's states, the game states, to put on front things like strategy planning. We have action and chaos. Then the characters and their reactions and their presence, and the players' reaction to the game. And now I'll let Emily talk to you about business.
So, as our game is a cooperative one, we really want to make some interesting social features, and we need them to create and keep a vivid community. So our main tool for that will be our level editor. Players will be able to create levels using all the game assets and mechanics. They will be able to share them with other players to see each other's works and, well, play together. Players will also have a customizable storehouse, personal customizable storehouse. Every stolen items will be found in this storehouse. So players will be able to review them and play with them after their breaking. We also intend to put leaderboards in every levels, and we want to put some replay tools to let the player record, share their strategies, their way of playing, to compare their efficacy with other players. To keep our game and its level editor alive, we intend to make several DLCs. We will propose contents from new masks to new characters, assets, or even full new themes with 10 levels. As they will have various content, they will have various prices, ranging from $1.99 for masks to, at most, $9.99 for full new themes. So we will make them in 1 to 4 weeks, depending on the content, and the rough budget will be of around 4 to 40 grand, depending on the content. So we plan to sell our game between $15 and $30, and the development time would be at most 13 months, including production in Cnam-Enjmin. The full budget for the game would be around $636,000 to $799,000. And our team will ramp up to 16% at its most productive state. So what's next for our next presentation and last in late March? So we want to work a bit more on Polypolis. We want to propose more defined universe. We also want to put our last two key mechanics in the game, so the object mechanics and the diversion system. And we are also working on a new theme, so I won't tell you which one. You'll have to come see us in March to see what it is, but I hope you'll like it. So, to summarize our game, it's a game where we have to communicate and cooperate. You have to steal crazy objects with crazy effects, and it will be difficult to do that. And you will be able to build new levels, share them with other players, and communicate with every players around the world. So I call the team on stage. In game design, we have Alice Gao, Arthur Descamps, and Rémi Fezad. In programming, we have Bastien Anceau, Guillaume Astor, and Paul Gerst. For the art direction, we have Alice Prudhomme and Grégory Parisi. Gaspard Morel is on the sound design of the game. Géraud de Courrèges is in charge of the user experience. And I'm managing the team. So thank you, and if you ever want to try or prototype yourself, we have several levels you haven't seen in this presentation. You can come to our workspace with 3 of your friends, don't forget them, to play your prototype. Thank you.